So welcome everybody. Today we're going to be talking about supercharging your Quickbase apps with plugins. Simple, easy, and fast is what we're going for. So I'm with MCF Technology Solutions. We're a Quickbase solution provider. We're a gold partner. We have expert builders all across the country. We're into mobile application development, integrations, BI solutions, streamlining business processes, and a whole host of other areas involving Quickbase. So my name's Ryan Haas. I'm the Director of Developer Operations here at MCF Tech. I've been in the software development world for over a decade now. I've been with MCF Tech for the last 5 years. And I had never used Quickbase before I got to MCF Tech. Within the first week of learning it and its capabilities, I was sold and I've thoroughly enjoyed using it ever since. So the agenda for today is time versus complexity and the pros and cons of it in software development, the native Quickbase environment and its benefits, API and database pages, plugins, and the Oasis marketplace. So time versus complexity, there's this great software trade-off because the more complex the system is, the more time it takes to build that system and the more into the software weeds you have to get. And then the less time you have to focus on your business specific logic. So anytime in software development, you can focus on the business logic and not on the complexity of the system behind it. It's a huge benefit, and that's where Quickbase really excels. That's why I've got Quickbase at the bottom left-hand corner, the native user interface of Quickbase. So what do we get with that out of the box? We get BI dashboards. We get charts and reports and 100 different ways to view your data. We get emails, notifications, subscriptions. We get roles and permissions. We get security and administration. We get pipelines, webhooks, automations. It goes on and on and on. But if I had to boil Quickbase down, it's a low-code platform that's fast, simple, and flexible. Flexible meaning if you could think of a business process in your head, you can more than likely build it in Quickbase. And fast meaning if your business process changes, Quickbase can keep up with it. So we're not bound by the native user interface. As we go up the complexity ladder here, Quickbase gives us APIs or application programming interfaces. What does this allow us to do? We can start to interact with systems outside of Quickbase. So I could bring in my SQL Server data into Quickbase. I could bring in my QuickBooks data into Quickbase. I could take my Quickbase data and send it to other systems. On top of this, I could also build plugins or custom functionality on top of my Quickbase applications. So in order to accomplish this, Quickbase gives us 2 different APIs we can interact with. We have an XML-based API that's very robust, and we have a JSON REST API that we can interact with. Now, 9 times out of 10, this is all you're ever going to need in Quickbase, and we actively encourage our clients to stay in the native user interface because it's simple, fast, and flexible. But there's certain use cases. Say I needed to be able to see my data in a Gantt chart, or I wanted to capture signatures in the field. For those situations, I'm not stuck either. So Quickbase gives us custom code and database pages. We can host code within Quickbase and build on top of Quickbase. Now, the problem with going this direction, as you can see, it's on the very top right of the complexity versus time graph. And I'm no longer focusing on my business logic and processes at this point. I'm having to focus on things like this. Now, with custom coding comes a lot of other headaches. I've got programming knowledge I need to have, system administration, repository and code management, deployment mechanisms, testing procedures and policies, browser and device updates, programming language updates, and the list goes on and on and on. And in the words of Mark Cuban, I'm out. I'm eating up all of my time digging into the weeds and I'm not focusing on my business logic. So here at MCF Tech, we see a lot of the same use cases over and over again, and we decided to build a plugin marketplace. And this plugin marketplace had to be built in the spirit of Quickbase, meaning it's got to be simple and easy, fast and flexible. And we're calling this plugin marketplace Oasis App Suite. So I want to take you on a quick demo of Oasis. I'm going to jump over to my Quickbase application here. So I'm in my Quickbase application and I'm on the signature capture table right here. I've got a single record, and let's pretend I'm a company and I need to be able to capture signatures from in the field. So I want to open up this record and show you what this looks like real quick. So within this record, I can see I've got 8 fields. The top row is who I expect to sign for this record. So I'm expecting Ryan Haas should be the signer. He's the director of developer operations. And when he signs, it's going to save a signature back to Quickbase. And we want to name that image signature file right here. Now let's jump over to Oasis and see if we can find a plugin that will help us out. So this is Oasis. If I go up to the plugins tab at the top here, I can see all of the different plugins that I can install on top of Quickbase. Let's search for Gantt Pro and take a look at some of the stuff we can see here. If I open this up, so I can see images of the plugin that I'm going to install into my Quickbase application. I can scan through them. If I scroll down, I've got a promotional video I can look at. I've got a product sheet. I've got some information about this plugin over here. Now, if I were to click install now, an installation prerequisite pops up. And we're trying to keep this as simple as possible. And this prerequisite says, before you try to install this plugin, here's some things we think you should do in order to make this process as simple as possible. There's also an installation help video here. So I could watch an MCF Tech employee go through the entire installation process with me so I don't get lost. Let's look at signature capture here and see if we can find a plugin for that. So I'm going to install this signature capture plugin into my Quickbase application. Let's click on install now. There's 3 steps to the installation process. The first step is I need to create a connection. So a connection is a way for Oasis to interact with my Quickbase application. If I didn't know what a connection was or I needed help, I could watch the video over here. It's going to point you in the right direction. I can also create a brand new connection by clicking this button here. Since I've already got one that's pointed to the Quickbase app that I was just in, I'm going to go ahead and use this connection. So now we're at the second step in the process, and this is mapping your fields and tables from your Quickbase app to the plugin here. So we need to know what fields and tables from Quickbase we have to interact with. There's also some general settings in here. So I'm going to start filling out the first section here. It says signer name. If I didn't know what that was, I could hover over the icon here. And also there's that video that'll walk you through this entire process. So if you get confused by some of these fields, make sure you watch the video as you're going through this install process. So signer name, I want to require that. Signer title, I want to show and require. The background color of my user interface, my signature capture UI, I want it to be a light gray. The clear button, I want that to be a light red. The save button, I think a light green would look good here. I've got some signing terms that I can put below the signature area on this user interface. I'm going to leave that as is. So now I'm down to connecting my Quickbase tables and fields. So I need to tell it which table in my Quickbase app do I want to interact with. Well, I want to interact with the signature capture table. In that table, I need to fill in some fields. So it needs a key field here. I'm going to grab the record ID, current user email field, signature file name reference. Down at the bottom here, signer title reference, signer name reference. All right, let's scroll down to the last section. And this last section is saying, where do I want to save this image in my Quickbase app when they sign for it? So I want to save it to the same table. You could have a child table and you could save it there if you wanted, but I'm going to save it to that same table. So I need a Quickbase user field here. I'm going to select that, a signer name field, signer title field, and a signature file attachment field. So I've got this all filled out. Let's go to the third step in the process, which is finalizing our installation here. And I need to give my subscription a name for my reference purposes only. So I'm going to call this the Empowered Demo. Tier and billing frequency, I'm going to select the first one here. I agree to the terms of service, and then I'm going to click Submit. And I've successfully subscribed to the Signature Capture plugin now. Now, in order to launch it, I need to install a button in my Quickbase application. So I can do that right here. I can click Install Launch Plugin button. It's going to bring up this pop-up. I'm going to go ahead and install it into my Quickbase app. Looks like it was successful. Now let's go take a look at this button that was installed in my Quickbase application for me. So here's the button. I'm going to change a couple of the settings on here. Let's call this Launch Signature UI. And let's display it as a button on Forms and Reports. Let's make this a dark blue so it really stands out. And let's open it in a new window when we click on it. And I'm going to click Save. So now we've got the button to launch the signature capture UI installed into our Quickbase app. Let's go over to that first record that we started at. I'm going to go ahead and refresh here. And we should see the launch signature UI button that we just installed. I'm going to go ahead and right click on it, open in a new tab. We'll go over here. We can see we've got that light gray background that we selected when we went through the installation process. I've got my light green save, the light red clear button here. I'm going to go ahead and sign this as somebody else. I'm going to say maybe John Smith is signing this. And I'm going to change this to John Smith, and we'll call him the vice president here. Go ahead and click save. So now it's going to save that signature back to my Quickbase application. And I can see here's my signature. I can open it up and get a better look at it if I wanted to. I can also see that, okay, John Smith signed here. It was supposed to be Ryan Hawes. He was the vice president, and I've got his signature. So that's the entire installation process in Oasis from beginning to end. Once I've got something installed in Oasis, let me just pop back over to Oasis real quick. And then I'm going to go to my plugins so I can see all of the subscriptions that I have right now in Oasis. So I can see I've got a Gantt here. And I've got the Empowered Demo Signature Capture that we just installed. Now in here, there's certain plugins that might be more complicated than others. There's tutorials in here. So if you wanted to train your team, you can come in here. There's videos that you can walk through. There's also user manuals that you can download and pass out to your teams. So there's a bunch of other information that you can do in this My Plugins area. I could also edit my configuration. So if I wanted to go back through and maybe change that background color from a light gray, I could say, let's edit the configuration of this. I'm going to step through this a little quicker. We'll say, okay, maybe we want a yellow color or an orangey color for our background. I can click save. And now if I were to go over and launch this again, I should see that the UI has been updated over here to that light orange background. So that's Oasis in a nutshell. I'm going to pop back over to my presentation here. And the whole idea behind this is to take the complicated things, the thing at the top right corner of this graph, the plugins, custom code, and database pages, and attempt to shift this down next to the native user interface in Quickbase. So the key takeaways I want you to walk away with are Quickbase drives collaboration, accuracy, and efficiency natively. Quickbase's power is not limited to the native interface alone. Developers can harness the power of its APIs to build custom features. Plugins bridge the complexity gap between coders and the rest of us. And the Oasis marketplace is bringing self-service plugins to the builder community. So that comes at the end of my presentation. I want to thank you for coming. There's a QR code you can scan. It'll take you right to the Oasis marketplace. We have a couple of links here as well, one to our website, the other one directly to Oasis apps as well. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. I appreciate your time and hope you enjoy the rest of Empower.